No matter how much you plan, it doesn't matter how much you plan. If you don't actually get started and the idea stays in your head, you're just not going to be able to get it out there. And for us, it's all about taking small steps. So I look at like that first year for us. And that first year, to be honest, had we sat around and planned and been paralysed by working out whether we should be a not-for-profit, and does that mean getting a governance board and seeking even more advice, we just wouldn't have been here a year on, to be honest. The other great thing about getting started, and I think this is really important to be blunt and say, is if you get started and your idea doesn't work, then maybe it wasn't supposed to and you should think of another idea. I know that sounds really blunt because we always hear you should never give up. But maybe you should give up and try a different way if that doesn't work. And the best way to work out if something's not going to work is by trying it. So get started, take the leap and give it a crack.
I guess for us as well, setting up as a social enterprise and not a not-for-profit meant that we had no room to move with funding. We know that every unit sale of a Project Rocket workshop is what we've got to work with. So we knew that if we had a product and it wasn't any good, it would fail. And to us, since we had a social outcome, that was really important, I guess.
Yeah, I actually just really, really love that about social enterprise. I think, if you really want to, if you're itchy to create change and you really want to innovate and you're really entrepreneurial and you want to do things really quickly, then social enterprise is the right place for you.
The next piece of learning was the importance of connecting with your purpose. For us, sitting down and making like Justin Bieber and asking, what do you mean? And really taking the time, you can do this while you've started, while you're going, but to work out with your team what it is that you're trying to do. You can hear how clear that idea is for us, and that's the reason it's with us 10 years on today.
And equally as important in a social enterprise is the economic drive. How are you going to put fuel in the rocket ship if your name is Project Rocket? What is going to actually drive you? As a social enterprise, we are a business that's designed to benefit the community in a financially sustainable way. So we take our income and reinvest it back into the mission, which then allows us to essentially amplify our business model, but also replicate it and create more impact. We sit with one foot in the sort of not-for-profit space and one foot in the sort of commercial business space, if you like.
And then you shake it all.
Yeah. And the way that we see it is commercial businesses need to act and think for purpose, and for purpose businesses need to act and think for profit. So this is equally as important, is working out your drivers.
But if I could add a layer, and this is my personal values orientation, I think my career has taught me that business for me is the best way to achieve social change. And here's why, right? We work in the space of tackling bullying. And as you know, our vision is a world where kindness and respect thrive over bullying, hate and prejudice. And we have a number of other organisations, not-for-profits and social enterprise in Australia who are trying to do the same. And right now in this country, there's been a lot of attention shone on, bullying programs in schools for LGBTI young people, for example, and they're federally funded. And that's really limited their capacity to do their mission, because essentially there's authorial control that comes with that funding. And for us, it's been really different. It's been really valuable when we've seen, to be apolitical and to be able to speak out about these issues, even though the powers that be might be trying to suppress these conversations. That's why, for me, it's so strong to be able to make your own money to do.
And I look back over the last 10 years, and I can recognise so many quick fix opportunities. Like opportunities to align with a not-for-profit, or opportunities to be acquired so we can reach more, or because it's really hard and we don't know what we're doing. But one of the keys to remaining our own social enterprise decisions made by us is that you have this level of autonomy.
The next learning is around team, and to borrow from our teenage audience language, rallying your squad for success. Our friends at Thank You Water often talk about how teamwork makes the dream work, and for us that's extremely true as well. Essentially, this isn't just a professional thing though, it's about your mates. For us, there's nothing outside of Project Rocket. This is every part of our lives. We live and breathe these values and this work. It really never stops. And so this is about surrounding yourself with people who support your goals even when you don't get it yourself. That dream, that vision might sound so lofty, or it might sound ridiculous at times, but it's about people understanding that yes, there's grit behind it, but they will get behind that idea, right?
Yeah. I guess at the same time, the other thing that I've learned over the years is confronting failure when you discover someone that maybe shouldn't be on your team. And I think, as Lou said, what we do, it is business, but I'm not going to lie, it's inherently personal, what we're doing. So sometimes it can be really difficult to make that identification that someone doesn't belong there. And just to borrow another analogy from Good to Great, because apparently we've all read it, Jim Collins talks about identifying who should be on the bus. Who's on the bus of your organisation, and are they sitting in the right seats? Well, early on, it became clear, to us probably early on in the early stages that we had someone that wasn't just on the bus and in the wrong seat. They were probably lying on the road in front of the bus.
I told her not to use that analogy because I was like, it sounds really bad, like we're going to run her over, which that's not what you mean though.
Oh, no. Is that why you were shooting me eyes then? But the point is that it took us like 4 or 5 months to finally have that conversation, and that person didn't want to be there. Like, they felt that it wasn't right. And so it's about confronting failure as well, like confronting that, you might have to pivot, and it might take a bit of time, but it's the right thing to do.